Hey guys, I'm Dwarf, and today I'm back with more Total War Warhammer 2 online action. Today we're back with another 2v2, this time the last alliance of Men and Dwarfs, Empire and Karak Kadrin, going to be taking on the Foul, Greenskin and Chaos Horde. So let's get straight to the army compositions. Karak Kadrin going to be led by Ungrim Iron Fist here. He's stripped of all his abilities to make him nice and cheap. The Dwarf main line is going to be Longbeards mixed with Longbeards with great weapons. The Grumbling Guard are going to be in the center. We've got 3 Quarrelers out to the right, and up front 3 Bolt Throwers ranked up to rank 7 here. They're going to be much more accurate and have a better refire rate. To that effect as well, we've got a Dwarfen Master Engineer, given that ballistics calibration, extra reload rate, and other goodies here. The extra powder, Prospector's Spyglass, all those goodies. In terms of my force here, we're going to be led by Franz, with the Royal Altdorf Griffites as his bodyguard sitting over here in the woods, hidden, protecting the Hammer of Witches. We've also got a Jade Wizard, plenty of spearmen around in supporting positions. We've got the Sigmar Sons hidden here in the woods as well, plenty of Reiksguard as well, of course, with the Zintler's Reiksguard over on this far side, a Witch Hunter as well, obligatory Witch Hunter. In terms of the Horde army here, we've got a front line of rank 7 Orc boys led by Grimgor Ironhide. We've got a giant, a couple of Orc Boar boy biggins. Over here we've got some nasty skulkers with some the 2 regiment of renowned Night Goblins and a Gobbo firing squad with Night Gobbo archers and the Rustiers. Night Goblin Shaman going to be leading that force over there. In terms of the army of chaos here, it's basically just a line of chosen with great weapons. So these guys are going to be getting in here, mixing it up, and yeah, chosen with great weapons, definitely cream of the crop of elite infantry. They're going to be led by Sigvald the Magnificent. He's got a fire sorcerer as well as an exalted hero. So yeah, without further ado, let's get this battle rolling. You can see right off the bat, Bolt Thrower is going to be focus firing on this giant here in the center. We're going to try and take him out before he can really even get to the main line. The Hammer of Witches also firing way down from the low ground there. You can see it does in fact have line of sight. It's a little bit hard to see from this far away, but yeah, these bolts are going to come in and do some nice damage here. Quarrelers also firing in, doing some good damage on the flank there of those Orc boys. Thankfully for me, I've got a relatively mobile force, so we can kind of respond as needed and help create some separation for this Hammer of Witches to stay online. We're going to be directing some of the fire over in towards these Orc Boar biggins now. Meanwhile, the Dwarf force is going to be getting the mainline engagement underway. Obviously, Orc boys far superior, or far inferior rather, to Longbeards with great weapons and so on. That giant has taken a ton of damage. The Master Engineer just buffing up these Bolt Throwers, and they are getting some great work done. Meanwhile, over on this side, the Hammer of Witches trying to get some good shots here. We're going to spring the Zintler's Reiksguard out of the woods and get a little bit of engagement here. The wall has been popped. Unfortunately, my opponent doesn't quite spot the Zintler's Reiksguard in time to get a countercharge. We also land a few really nice hits there with the Hammer of Witches, and the Spearmen are going to be engaging as well. We've got Nasty Skulkers trying to push through the back lines here. The Regiment of Renowned Gobbos also pushing away some of these Quarrelers and more. The mainline engagements could be pretty desperate. We've got some Reiksguard charging chosen over on the far side here, and just kind of using the rest of my units in reserve right now. This giant's just about to fall over from the concerted Bolt Thrower fire, and these Nasty Skulkers have managed to get back to my Hammer of Witches, but Franz and the Royal Altdorf Griffites going to have something to say about that. They're going to come in, drop a quick terror bomb, and secure that Hammer of Witches, very importantly. Meanwhile, Zintler's Reiksguard with support of some Spearmen and the said Hammer, able to win that mobility engagement over on the far side. Meanwhile, the Fire Sorcerer dropping some nice spells there. That bombardment, which name escapes me, but anyway, Grumbling Guard also on the receiving end of a regrowth from that Jade Wizard there, trying to keep them in the fight, keeping all these guys vigor refreshed. The Sigmar Sons also fighting, so we've got Dwarfs fighting side by side with men here, Longbeards mixed in with these Sigmar Sons. Very lore friendly and appropriate. Reiksguard also trying to support this flank, but obviously the Chosen with great weapons, even though they don't have an anti-large bonus, just their massive AP damage and their great stats mean they're going to be hard to deal with. Zintler's Reiksguard overcommitting a little bit. We're going to bring them back in. You can see the Royal Altdorf squad trying to roll up some of these gobos who had been compromising the quarrelers and more. Trying to re-secure this flank here and then try and collapse in on this goblin firing squad here. The dwarfs are doing their best, holding out quite admirably considering they're fighting chosen with great weapons mostly now. There's not really too many black orcs. Dealt with most of the orc boys at this point, but those chosen doing quite well. Ungrim Iron Fist mixing it up with that Exalted Hero. He's actually going to quite easily rout that Exalted Hero off. Unfortunately, Sigvald actually will do pretty well against Ungrim, especially with the regeneration and everything. More bombardments being dropped here from that Fire Sorcerer, where the Royal Altdorf squad now pushing through in the back line here. Routing off a lot of these gobos, of course. They're pretty much mostly going to instantly tear a rout once we make contact here, so we're going to try and break as many of these units as possible. This Witch Hunter also just kind of trolling around in the back line, popping off shots wherever need be. Meanwhile, Reichsguard trying to get some work done against the Chosen with great weapons. These ones getting chased off. Those Chosen overcommitting a little bit. Now going to be intercepted by some Longbeards with great weapons. The Bolt Throwers are still online here, trying to fire down into this main combat. And oh man, they got some work done there. Synchronized decapitation on a couple of those Chosen with great weapons. Unfortunately, Ungrim is about to fall here. But, man, that Master Engineer and all these Bolt Throwers now going to focus fire on Sigvald himself. Ungrim does go down, but we're able to start rolling up a lot of the units in the back line with the Royal Altdorf Griffites and more. Hammer of Witch is relatively secure as well, going after Grimgor himself. And, yeah, you can see Rusty Ayers being chased off by the Zintler's Reichsguard. So it's definitely a very close battle. Bounce power slightly in our favor at this point. But Sigvald's going to get in the back line here, and this Engineer is going to have a pretty bad time, although the Engineer does do AP, and holy cow, those fire arcs make it a little bit hard to see what's going on. But, yeah, all those Dwarf artillery pieces are going to be shooting Sigvald point blank. They've got him down to about half HP, but at this point the Dwarf line's just crumbling hard. The Chosen with great weapons pushing through, having racked up a ton of kills. And yeah, the bounce power is going to come back towards even a little bit there. Hammer of Witches is still online, though, firing away at Grimgor, doing a little bit of friendly fire, honestly, but Franz himself also getting in here and mixing it up with Grimgor. Grimgor will definitely do a lot of damage to Karl. He's actually been routed off at this point, which is a little bit unfortunate, but the Royal Altdorf Griffites and Zitler's Reichsguard still online. We did manage to dodge that bombardment there. Which I will remember the name of at some point. In fact, I could even check on this Fire Sorcerer here. Piercing Bolts of Burning. You know what, even as I go to check, I remember. That's what it is, yep. But yeah, at this point, the Chosen with great weapons pushing through. There are still quite a few units relatively healthy, so it's going to be tricky to rout them off. You can see the bounce power starting to turn more and more in our opponent's favor. We are going to drop that accusation on Grimgor and focus fire with the Witch Hunter, trying to finish him off here. If we can finish off the Orc leadership, then obviously it'll be much easier to terrify away the Chosen. Because of course, Chosen are not immune to psychology, and I do still have these Royal Altdorf Griffites. Franz also coming back from rout, getting a nice Earthblood on them, healing him back up. The Jade Wizard had mostly been dropping the Earthblood in the front line to heal up the Dwarfs, but Sigvald going to clean up some of these Longbeards in the back line. A lot of these Chosen with great weapons kind of pushing through here, trying to get to where Franz and these other troops are at, and we're trying to do a bit of an alpha strike here, see if we can't terror out away some of these Chosen. A bit of danger close there with that Hammer of Witches. But at this point, we're just doing everything we can, trying to finish off the leadership here. You can see the Fire Sorcerer actually gets terrified. Franz puts a good beating on him, and he's going to be gone. So, yeah, at this point, things are pretty tight still. We're going to switch the Hammer of Witches onto this other unit of Chosen with great weapons, and just continue to try and fire away. It's racked up 68 kills so far, so pretty decent, all things considered. This Witch Hunter also getting about 39 kills. He's going to start to skirmish away and do some firing into those Chosen as well. And yeah, looks like Grimgor are going to get that sneaky stab in there, trying to finish off these State Troop Spearmen here. But that's perfectly fine with me. That's going to allow us plenty of time to secure this Hammer of Witches here and bring it online as much as possible. You can see the Nasty Skulkers trying to get back in the back line here, but we do still have some auxiliary spearmen who have been relatively not involved in the combat here. And Franz and the Altdorf Griffites, of course, going to come drop a quick terror bomb. If we can re-secure this Hammer of Witches, we can continue to fire away. The Dwarf Engineer, unfortunately, did rout off. We do still have a few Longbeards, brave Longbeards here fighting with the Zintler's Reichsguard in this backline area, trying to secure with the State Troop Spearmen. And actually might be able to rout off Grimgor here. His leadership is super low, so if we can actually, and Grimgor does actually rout there, so we can now use these Zintler's Reichsguard to potentially chase him off the side of the battlefield. So although Grimgor didn't go down, he is very low, and that's important. We're now going to train the Hammer of Witches over to this Fire Sorcerer, I believe, who's actually been routed off. Only 47 HP, actually goes down. Ooh, must have had the accusation on him. But yeah, this Witch Hunter continuing to fire away, picking off a few here and there. And any of those chosen with great weapons that we can see out the field are going to be very key at this point. Goblin Archers, who had come back from routing, going to be run down by the Zintler's Reichsguard as they try and chase Grimgor off the side here. He's only got about 280 hit points, so it's doubtful that he'll come back, but I definitely need to make sure he doesn't come back. State Troop Spearmen being routed off, and at this point there's just kind of this pocket of Chosen here. This is the main center of resistance for our opponents. These Chosen have just pushed through everywhere, but oh man, a nasty volley coming down from the Hammer of Witches there, putting it up to 109 kills, a lot of those coming against the elite tier infantry of the Chosen. So yeah, at this point things are super close still, and it's still pretty much anyone's game. Sigvald's relatively healthy. He's going to finish off the leadership of those State Troop Spearmen. And yeah, the main issue here is that the Chosen are relatively isolated, and we do still have Karl Franz and the Royal Altdorf Griffites on station, and the Terror is going to be very key in this late game engagement here. The Hammer of Witches firing point blank, just doing as much as possible to try and finish off these Chosen with great weapons. We also hit that Reikland, Runefang, and Standard Ground, giving these Royal Altdorf Griffites in the 60s on their attack and defense. So we're going to follow up with the State Troop Spearmen. The State Troop Spearmen obviously aren't going to win this fight. They're mostly here to just soak hits. And ooh, another point blank shot right in the face of those Chosen. Very cool stuff. Itchy Nuisance being dropped by that Gabo Shaman, who's still stalked over there on the far side. Zintler's Reichsguard have just about finished chasing Grimgor off. Then we're going to bring them back over here. And yeah, at this point, Franz and the Altdorf squad are able to kind of keep a terror route going here, just kind of ping-ponging between these different units of Chosen with great weapons. The one main issue is this unit here with 47 unit models, 174 kills. They've got up to, I believe all these guys started rank 2. These guys have got up to rank 4 over the course of the battle. So, ooh, another point-blank shot there, getting some of those Chosen with great weapons. And here come the Royal Altdorf Griffites and Karl Franz, trying desperately to finish things off here, trying also not to stay in contact with those Chosen with great weapons for too long. Understandably, the Witch Hunter's out of ammo, so he's going to be mixing it up in melee a little bit there. And yeah, the Zintler's Reichsguard still chasing Grimgor off. He's way in the opposite corner here, so we're going to get them coming back as soon as possible. But man, just such a tight fight at this point. And the cannon crew of the Hammer of Witches, unfortunately at this point, not going to be able to be saved. The Chosen with great weapons do overrun that position, and soon are going to be recharging these Spearmen, who actually are doing relatively well, just due to the fact that they have so many unit models left compared to the Chosen, who are very low. But Franz and the Royal Altdorf Griffites coming in, again, dropping that quick terror bomb, trying to get rid of some of these Chosen with great weapons here. Sigvald himself is also in this pocket, so we're going to have to be a bit careful. But this also affords us an opportunity. If I can somehow get Franz himself to get a good charge, get some solid contact on Sigvald, we might be able to actually do some good damage here to leadership. Because if we can damage Sigvald enough that we can cause just a mass terror rout with the Chosen, it should be a very favorable situation for us. So yeah. At this point, Sigvald is at his healing cap. He's going to come in, and here comes the duel of the fates. Franz facing off against Sigvald, and Sigvald's definitely taking the south end of this engagement. We did pop Galmaraz to give Franz over 600 weapon strength. Franz is taking damage, though, so I'm going to pull back, try and take advantage of that charge bonus one more time here as we get a nice rear charge into Sigvald. And yeah, these Chosen great weapons trying to come in to support. They do take down one more of those Demigryph Knights, but at this point we've actually been able to rout off Sigvald, so that's tipped the balance of power in our favor. The Zintler's Reichsguard finally coming back over, having seen Grimgor off. But yeah, at this point we're going to come in, collapse on these Chosen great weapons here, get a rear charge with Witch Hunter and Reikland Runefang all around for everyone. And yeah, Sigvald is actually going to get finished off here by Karl Franz. And with his demise, the Chaos Forces are going to be a lot more likely to terror rout here. Yeah, I don't think he's getting up after that one, so poor Sigvald's down. And at this point, the Royal Altar Griffites, despite only having 4 unit models and about 230 HP, are still online. Here come the true heroes of the Dwarfs as well. These last few Longbeards going to be providing a nice little anvil here as we regroup our forces. We'll fast forward a little bit through this late game situation as the Sintler's Reichsguard are going to come out and put down a nice charge here. Again, we're trying to take advantage of the fact that my opponent's forces are somewhat isolated here. He's chosen with Great Weapons, going to get charged from both sides, from the Sintler's Reichsguard and the Royal Altdorf squad there, so they're off the field. The State Troop Spearmen somehow came back from routing, and the Jade Wizard chasing down some Great Weapon Chosen there, so yeah, at this point there's just the one relatively healthy group of Chosen. We tag the the Gabo Great Shaman, and then the Chosen suddenly decide, no, they maybe don't want to be here anymore. But a very fun battle. Hope you guys enjoyed watching. A super close battle. Man, just another epic 2v2. I've had so many cool epic 2v2 games lately, and I'm going to be bringing more of them to you guys since you seem to enjoy them so much. In terms of the army breakdown on this one, I mean, obviously the Sintler's Reichsguard, Royal Altar Griffites, and Karl Franz definitely the MVPs for my army. Hammer of Witches also did quite well, 119 kills. You don't expect necessarily super high kill totals on this type of artillery, but it did quite well. For Black Iron, the bolt throwers taking down the giant early on was super key. It really was not cost effective at all, almost a complete waste for our opponents. Then they were able to get some okay damage done against Chosen and other targets. The Longbeards actually held out quite well considering they're fighting Chosen with great weapons. And Master Engineer and Ungrim helping take down some high-value targets as well. That Exalted Hero got taken down relatively easily. You can see some of the Chosen didn't really pay out as much. Most of them did quite well, though. 98, 90, 115 XP chevrons to go around. In terms of the greenskins here, got run over a little bit by the heavy cav of the Empire, but some of the Skulkers and other units able to get some good work done on the back line of the Dwarves. The Quarrelers were able to be secured in the end, though, and get some good work done. So all around, very fun battle. Well played to everyone involved. Hope you guys enjoyed watching. If you do like this sort of content, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification button, so every time I upload a new video, you'll be notified. Thank you once again for watching, and we'll see you next time.